Hello everyone, I have to apologise for the bad audio. I'm using the microphone off my laptop again rather than the microphone on my phone, just because it's easier. Today we're going to do a interactive video, so there's going to be a lot of pause to screenshot kind of activities. If you want to download this PDF, you can find it on payhip.com/acestudystudio. It's one of the ones that's completely for free. So you can print this off, have a go yourself. You can either do it with me or you can do it in your own time. A lot of these I think I would suggest do in your own time, but I'm going to do a video kind of walking through the booklet. So this is for your English revision. Our first activity here is an English bingo sheet. So you'll complete a row or a column and give yourself a reward. So you could treat yourself to something from the shop, or you could, I don't know, go for a fun activity with your friends, something to reward yourself. So if I zoom in here, I'm going to just walk you through all the activities that I've put in. So number 1, read a 19th century novel. Why do you think I am suggesting that you do that? I'll give you a second to think and then I will give you the reasons. So, the reason why I am suggesting you read a 19th century novel is because for your language paper 1 paper, the text that you'll be given will be taken from a 19th century novel, and if you practice reading those beforehand, you'll be at a little bit of an advantage because you'll recognise the writing style, the vocab they use, and in some cases you might have already read the book that the extract is coming from. So if you have previously read the 19th century novels, you'll find it a lot easier. Something that I did is when I read Frankenstein, as I read it, I went along and I highlighted all the techniques and I just briefly annotated the book. I'm not suggesting you do all of that, just read a 19th century novel. The next one, highlight 3 examples of persuasive language in a paper 2 text. Persuasive language in a paper 2 text. Why do you think I'd be suggesting that? Have another second to think. The reason I'm doing this is so that you are able to recognise it. Some examples of persuasive language could be emotive language, so words that trigger your emotional responses, rhetorical questions, questions that imply an obvious answer to sway an opinion, imperative language, which are commands that create a sense of duty, rules of 3, personal pronouns, hyperbole, which is exaggeration, inclusive language and direct address, so that's where you're engaging with the audience directly. Again, for your paper 2, read any news article and identify the writer's purpose. This is, again, so that you are getting used to those non-fiction texts, because the art of reading news articles is sort of dying out now, where everyone's getting their news off TikTok or Instagram. So have a go at reading an actual news article and try and think about why is the writer writing this article, what are they trying to get you to do, or what are they trying to get you to understand. Then this one, answer 1 evaluation question from a past paper. So this could be a paper 1 or a paper 2, doesn't matter which one. Both the evaluations are exactly the same. Make character profiles for one of your studies books, e.g. in spectacles. So you want to include any themes related to the character, any quotes related to the character, and any other notes that you can think of. A character profile template can also be found on the store, and my in spectacles character notes can be found on the store with the flashcards for £7 I think, but I will put a discount code in the description so that you can download it for, let's say, £2.50. Okay, choose a paragraph from one of your past exam answers and try to improve it. So if you've done any past papers, choose 1 paragraph from one of your answers. Could be an analysis, could be an evaluation, could be an imaginative writing. Have a look at the mark scheme, look at some examiner comments, and then try and improve your answer. Next one, find an image online and write a short piece of imaginative writing about it. This is something I say to do to practice. It's the easiest way. You don't even need to find an image online. Go for a walk and take a photo and just describe it and then try and write, I would say, 1 to 2 paragraphs about it. Teach a friend about a new literary technique you've learned. So literary techniques we'll come on to later, but the best way to learn is to teach your friends, because that's the easiest way that you will retain all the information. Next one, attempt a past paper question and use the mark scheme to self-mark. Again, this is good at practice. You can do a paper 1 or paper 2, a lit paper, doesn't matter, just do one question and use the mark scheme to self-mark. Make a mind map with all the literary techniques you've learnt, so again we'll come on to literary techniques later. Read the first page of a book and try to continue the story. So any book that you like. I first thing that's coming to my mind is Hunger Games, because I can see it right in front of me. But I would read the first page, and then I would try and continue the story on. Don't try and guess what the writer is trying to do, or if you've read the story before, don't try and do it from memory. Try and come up with your own idea. And then next one, choose a quote and explain its effect on the reader in 1 to 2 sentences. This is important because this is what most students forget in their analysis, and this is something that is so important to do. Also, it's important to note that these activities should take you between 2 to 15 minutes, and I don't want you to do them all at once. Try and do maybe like a row a week. So do 1 of each a week, and then the next week you do those 3, and then the next week you do those 3, and then the next week you do those 3. Don't overdo it on the revision, if that makes sense. Right, next one, reading skills. Again, 19th century novels, they seem like they're boring, but they give you a chance to get used to that vocab. So here's my recommendations. This is Frankenstein and The Picture of Dorian Gray. Those are my 2 favourites. I have read a couple of other ones, but those are the ones I will never ever stop recommending because I love them. And then, not just 19th century, you need to read for your own enjoyment. So you need to read other books. So again, I'm going to use The Hunger Games as an example. I liked the movies, so I read the books. Well, actually it was the other way around. I read the books and then I liked them, so I watched the movie. But let me try and think of an example where it was the other way around. Twilight. I liked the movies, so I read the books. So if there's a movie or TV show that you like, try and see if there's a book on it and read that. It's also important, if you know what kind of genre you like, so I like crime novels, try and find some other crime novels, and that will help you really get into it. But it is so valuable for your vocab and creativity, things that you will need for all your English papers. Try to spend 10 minutes a day reading something that interests you. Every book that you read will help in the long run. Could be fiction or non-fiction, because non-fiction, remember, will help you for your paper too. Here's an analysis cheat sheet. This is something I'm going to just get you to screenshot, because I've been through analysis so many times, so I'm not going to run through it again. So just screenshot this. Let me move my mouse out the way. I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, moving on. Techniques. What are the techniques? We've got language and structure techniques. Some language are similes, metaphors, personification, sibilant/assonance, imagery, semantic fields, hyperbole, emotive language. The structure techniques, we've got sentence length, paragraph length, juxtaposition, shifts in time, perspective or POV, foreshadowing, circular structure and repetition. Some of these techniques can be both language and structure. Think about which ones could be language and structure and write them down, like maybe over here, and then any other techniques you can think of, write them in this space here. Again, if you want to take part in these activities, go to the PayHip store and download this PDF for free. And then after you've done that, have a go at highlighting a text to see if you can identify some of these techniques. So I'm not asking you to answer a past paper question, I'm just asking you to get a past paper so you've got the extract and see if you can identify any techniques in the text. and keep doing this until you're 100% confident that when you look at a text you will know exactly where the techniques are. Right, moving on. Imaginative writing. This is something I've also spoken about in my paper 1 video, but I will go over it in a little bit more detail now. In this section you are asked to write a story, description or personal experience. The aim is to engage the reader and show control of language, structure and ideas. Marks are given for content and ideas, originality, clarity, creativity, organisation and structure, paragraphs, pacing, openings and closings, sentence structure and vocab, variety, grammar, spelling, language techniques, imagery, description, dialogue, mood and tone. So, let's break this down. Story, description or personal experience. Personal experience, this can be made up. It doesn't need to be real. Description. So, less focused on a narrative, more focused on telling the reader, showing the reader what's going on around you. Remember, show, don't tell. And story, I would say if you are trying to do a story, make sure it has a clear beginning, middle and end, and the tension is building, and then there's a clear climax. If you're doing a story as well, don't focus too heavily on the narrative. Try and focus on the quality of your language over what is actually happening. But again, you will still get marks for your creativity, so try and be creative as well. Some challenges that students face are starting the story, they don't know where to begin, limited vocab, so this is something your reading will help you with, because it will help you learn new words and introduce them into your vocab. Overuse of cliches, it was a dark and stormy night. Check out my TikTok for things to do instead of that. Weak paragraphing or pacing. So what I see again a lot is students will tend to write really long paragraphs that probably should have been 2 or 3 paragraphs, or their pacing's off, so part of the story could be really fast and then suddenly nothing happens for ages and then it's really fast again. So that's something that's quite jarring for the examiner. So if any of these sound like you, practice reading, practice planning and practice writing some stories. Read the examiner comments, they will tell you exactly what you need to do. Those can be found on the edXL website. Some targets to focus on. You're going to hook the reader immediately. So you can start with some action, dialogue or vivid imagery. So something that will make them stop and be like, whoa, and then they will be wanting to read more of your story. Then number 2, we're going to show, don't tell. So instead of saying they were on the bus, you're going to describe using imagery and descriptive language kind of what being on a bus is like. That was a terrible example, but you understand what I'm saying, hopefully. Then number 3, you're going to plan your story arc, as I said before, clear beginning, clear middle, clear ending. You want a build up of tension and a climax. Vary sentences, so you're going to mix your short and your long. You don't want just long sentences all over the place, and you don't want just short sentences, because that will mess with your pacing a little bit, so you want to mix it up a bit. So if you find yourself writing really long sentences for ages, stop and think and have a look, can I break any of these sentences up into shorter ones? Again, if you're doing really short sentences, can you combine some of them and still have it make sense? Number 5, you're going to use the 5 senses: what you see, hear, smell, taste and feel. This again will help you with your descriptive language and your imagery. It will help the reader really place themselves into that scene. Number 6, include characters' thoughts and feelings to create engagement. So we don't just want to know what the character's doing, we want to know how they feel in the moment, we want to know what they're thinking about, and that will help the reader relate to the character a bit better. Number 7, finish strongly, leave the reader with a strong impression or twist. I would say the easiest ending to do is a cliffhanger, but you have to do a cliffhanger well if you're going to do it. You can't just end it abruptly and then nothing else happens. You've got to try and make it work with the story. Right, moving on. Here's an activity for you now. you can either screenshot the video, pause it and do it right now, or if you want you can download the PDF and do it in your own time. So there's 4 pictures here. We've got a dark forest, we got a lovely sandy beach, we got a white wolf in a snowy forest with red trees, and we got 2 boys playing. So choose one of the photos and write a short descriptive piece of writing. So you could choose that one, that one, that one, or that one and try and describe it. Let's have a look together. How would we describe this? Dark, misty, gloomy, mysterious, cold. Could be like the air's hanging. There's no like airflow. Next one, beach. It's hot, it's sandy, the sun is in the sky, you might be able to hear a couple birds, you can hear the waves lapping on the beach. This one is cold. Again, it's kind of gloomy. You've got the red trees, you could compare that to blood. You've got the wolf by himself. And then this one, you've got 2 boys playing. It looks like it's probably nice hot weather. You could definitely hear the sounds of other children playing, so laughing. Maybe there's a cool breeze, maybe there's a couple dogs out. You know, just try and describe and be as creative as you can with your description. Then you're going to choose 2 of the images and you're going to plan a story based off of them. So you could choose these 2, you could choose these 2, you could choose these 2, because you could say like this forest here looks like that, and it's like a contrast between the nice beach and the gloomy forest, something like that. And then finally write a piece of dialogue between the 2 boys in the photo. What do you think they'll be saying to each other? The reason why I'm asking you to do that is because dialogue is where the weakest part of people's stories comes in, because people don't know how to write very good dialogue. So if you practice it, then you'll get better. And then finally, here's a reflection page. So if you do print this off, you can print this page multiple times and use it weekly to track your progress. So you write 4 things you learned that week, tick off the goals and add your own goals in here, write your goals for next week, and then there's a little well done sticker for doing so well. As always, if you do want to take part in any of the activities, or you want to do some past papers and you want me to mark them, my email will be in the description of the video and I will be more than happy to go through it with you. And again, like this video and subscribe. If you are doing Edexcel GCSE, I've done a full paper 1 and paper 2 walkthrough on my channel as well, and obviously have a look at my TikTok for some other revision games. I've got revision tips, I've got specific English tips, I've got that cliches thing that I mentioned as well. My TikTok is a study studio, which I will also put in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you guys will smash your GCSEs that are coming up.